What is going on, everybody? Today's video has been a long time in the making, as I've been kind of on the fence actually about telling the story, although I think it's a good one to tell to kind of show the reality of what working in the live music scene is kind of like. Also, of course, it depends on what city you're in, etc. This was truthfully one of the scariest shows I've ever worked in my entire life. Hey, real quick, before I jump into this video, if you're interested in private guitar instruction with yours truly online, my email is in the link in the description below. Just shoot me an email, state your case, and I will get back to you. Also, don't forget to sign up for my free monthly newsletter, free written guitar lesson every month, as well as access to all of my tabs. Link in the description and pinned comment as well. Back to the video. Back when I was younger, 19 years old to be exact, I actually worked at a very famous club in LA called Catch One. I believe there's actually a documentary on this club on Netflix somewhere. Of course, since the founding of the club has very much changed its structure since it started, but it's still a very well-known place, and it still has a lot of functioning shows out of this venue. Before I get into the show itself, I should explain how I even got this gig in the first place. So again, I have no issues name dropping this venue because, again, it's very well known. In fact, the story I'm about to tell you can actually Google it. It's that big of a story. It made the news how insane this night was. But I ended up getting this gig because when I was living in LA, I moved there when I was 18, and I went and was trying to get my foot in the door in the music industry in LA. And at the time, I actually was having a very difficult time doing that, and was very fortunate to have quite a lot of friends that would let me crash on their couches. Sometimes for a week, sometimes for a month, sometimes a little bit more long-term than that. And I really had a very unstable existence at this point. I was just kind of hopping from friend to friend, trying to get gig to gig, and nothing was really sticking at the time. Well, this is kind of where things started to change a little bit for me. It didn't change overnight, but it was a step, I guess you could say, in the right direction. So I had this friend from Poland. I won't say his name in the video, but he actually got me a lot of gigs later on in my career there, and really helped me kind of get my foot in the door when I needed a helping hand. And we actually ended up working together on a lot more stuff later on. And I have some future videos that I have kind of spoken about his presence in my career as well. But in this specific case, he was working at this club before me, and basically he just got a better gig, right? So he didn't need the work anymore. And I actually happened to hit him up at a coinciding time when I was like, hey man, I'm looking for like something here, even if it's just a steady club gig. Most of the live music industry is entirely freelance. In fact, most of the music industry, regardless of it being live or not, is almost all freelance. So having a steady gig is a very important thing. This was a semi-steady gig, a couple nights a week on the weekends, right? Doesn't pay very well. He gave me the contact info. I went in, I said, hey, I know so-and-so. Cool, man. Yep, sounds good. Fill out the paperwork. That's how most gigs went. Usually there was never like an interview that actually happened with so many gigs I got. It was usually like you call the guy on the phone for a half hour. Oh, so-and-so? Sounds good. Come on in. So that's how this pretty much went, right? And needless to say, this was a very, very, very dingy club in a pretty dingy neighborhood. The neighborhood is called Arlington Heights. It's kind of, I guess you would say, near mid-city LA. So it's not really next to anything. It's kind of in its own spot in the city. And not a lot of people go there. It's usually locals that live there. You'd be hard-pressed to find people moving to mid-city in LA, which is where Arlington Heights pretty much is. You go like all the way past Koreatown, and then all of a sudden you're on a different part of town that you've never even knew existed in LA. And that's where this club was. So needless to say, me being a young guy in LA, this is back when I was just sound man Serge, okay? That's all I was pretty much doing in LA, was a lot of audio engineering. anything in the sound department is what I was doing. A lot of the guys that worked there, especially at this place, were very kind of rough around the edges, you know. They didn't really like new people. They definitely were not a fan of me. I did not fit into the club like pretty much immediately. I had way too positive of an attitude, and everybody else there was very like pissed off all the time. So I don't know why that was. I really, to this day, don't even know. But they were not nice guys. Like, you ever know, you know, the stories that everybody tells about the mean sound guy, and how, you know, it's kind of always like through the grapevine that everyone's like talking trash, saying, oh yeah, sound guys are always just dicks. Well, to be honest, at this venue, every sound guy was kind of a dick. But I don't know why. I always felt like I was trying to be cool, but everyone else didn't want to be there. And it kind of made sense why. The pay was not good at all. I think when I got hired there, they were giving me $17 an hour, okay? And now keep in mind, this was like 2018 probably. So the minimum wage in LA, it was still above that at the time. Minimum wage was not where it is now by any means. So 17 an hour was like still not good, but it was definitely like, okay, well, you know, you're making above normal wage. I guess that's good to get paid for your skill. And who knows what everyone else was getting paid, truthfully, right? And I think that's probably why everyone had a bad attitude. But let's now talk about the layout of this venue. So this venue, Catch One, actually has like 7 different venues inside of it. I know that's weird to say, but there would be some nights that we would have literally 7 shows at once going on. And that would be, of course, if we're fully staffed. Otherwise, it would be like, well, no, that's not true. We would still have 7 shows, but instead of 7 people, it would be like 3 of us doing all of the shows combined. So you'd have to go check on, you know, the Underground was what it was called, and there might be like an EDM goth show going on. And then you'd have to like stay there for 20 minutes and then go check on the Jewel Room, which might have had some like emo band show going on, and you'd have to like go and make sure your mix is good in there. And you're constantly like going back in between the rooms, frankly kind of doing like way too much work than you're getting paid for. But like I said, at the time I was broke and I needed a gig, so I did what I had to do. And to my own surprise, I actually stayed on with this venue for much longer than I really would have liked to. I really didn't like working there, but as stated, I needed the money and I needed a steady gig. Then there comes a time where I finally get a raise at this venue. And that happened because I was actually about to quit. We ended up getting a new production manager. Now, believe it or not, the old production manager did not move on to better things. He actually got demoted for not doing a good job as a production manager, demoted him to regular audio engineer guy, and just hired in an entirely new production manager. Well, me and that production manager became actually pretty good friends, and I just told him straight up, hey man, I don't get paid enough to work here, and I'm about to go take this gig at the House of Blues permanently and just leave here. And he's like, dude, what do I gotta do to get you to stay? And I'm like, literally just pay me more money. So then to my 19-year-old self, he ups my pay to, guess what, not 17, 19 an hour. How amazing. It really was still not that good, but for some reason in my mind I justified this pay raise because he made me the main audio engineer guy, right? Me and him are tight now. You know, he's like, hey, I want you to be the main guy, right? So you're my first call. So that was good for me, right? Because again, I needed the money and all this stuff. So as this starts happening, less and less people though are getting called. So I'm actually ending up doing more work than I used to do because all these people, he just stops calling and only calls me, and I end up working like literally maybe 5 shows at once, maybe with one other guy if I'm lucky, and a lighting guy, right? So here comes the point where things get pretty dicey. Now, as I said before, this venue was always insanely sketchy. Everybody that worked there was sketchy. The owner was shady. Everything about this place was a dark place, okay? You could feel the vibe. It's even driving into that part of town to go to this place, you could feel the vibe at all times. There's some sort of evil vibe about this venue all the time. I can't really ever even necessarily put my finger on exactly why. There's obviously so many reasons, but this place felt evil whenever I had to go there, and I really hated going there. But anyways, So I get called to this gig, okay? And this is in the biggest room that we have. It's upstairs. It's called the disco room, okay? And in this room, there is a show going on, and it's, I don't even remember what kind of show it was supposed to be. It was some sort of like hip-hop, kind of R&B, kind of just dance show going on. And I remember getting up there, and I kind of arrived to work a little bit late, and they had already started opening the venue. And I remember meeting the promoters of this show specifically, and they were all nasty to me, and everyone on the staff. Like, nobody liked these people. They were just not nice, you know. They just really didn't treat anyone with respect, and they were just rude, like, straight off the gate, right? So, of course, this wasn't really, like, the most uncommon thing to happen, to be honest. Like, there's, you know, you deal with all kinds of people in this thing. Some people are super nice, some people are rude, and you kind of just have to deal with it how you're going to deal with it, right? And me being young and always trying to be positive, I usually would just kind of brush it off and be like, hey, whatever, you know, this night will be over soon. So anyways, me and the lighting guy are getting set up, and, you know, we have this little bird's nest kind of sound booth that we sit in. And this door is closed to the public, right? The weird part about this, you have to go into the men's bathroom to get into. What a weird design. So you have to walk into the bathroom, and the door is in the bathroom, and then here's the sound booth with the lights. So it's just a really weird thing. But anyways, so we're like sitting here, and usually once we get into the bird's nest and the venue gets packed, I mean, we're chilling for like a lot of the night, because especially in that venue, because things get so packed like sardines in there, like you kind of don't want to leave, right? So at this point, I called my production manager to say, hey, can you check on, you know, some of the other rooms tonight, because I just don't really want to like have to deal with going through all these people to just get into another part of the venue to check on another show going on, and this is the biggest show we have going on, so it kind of makes sense. So of course, you know, he's like, yeah, for sure, no problem. So I start seeing all the people trickle in, and this show was an absolute banger, dude. Like, it was unhinged immediately. Like, I remember specifically thinking this show is going to go to shit. Like, there was no security hardly at all at this show. Everybody was just doing drugs openly, literally like strippers everywhere, like literally everything you could imagine at some sort of Hollywood event that you've seen in a movie is happening right now in front of me in real life. And obviously, living in LA, like, there's limits to it, right? Because at some point you live there long enough, you've seen a lot of stuff, you're like, okay, it's LA. This one was like, we're in LA and this is still crazy. So basically, we're waiting. I get this text message from my production manager, and he says, hey man, so-and-so singer is supposed to show up and do a sound check like right after this person gets off stage. Can you wait around for like 20 minutes? And I'm like, okay, sure, sounds good. And I guess this singer was a famous singer. I don't really remember her name, to be honest. When he said it at the time, I knew who it was, but it literally escapes me now who that person was supposed to be showing up for this gig. Well, basically 20 minutes goes by, and I'm waiting for this singer. Never shows up, right? So I'm just kind of getting antsy. You know, music's still playing, but no actual performer right now. It's just like some DJ, you know. So I tell the lighting guy, I'm like, hey man, I'm going to just go down to my car real quick, you know, eat a Cliff Bar, get some water, you know, just like get out of here for a second, get away from the loud sound. Yeah, dude, no problem. So I walked out of my car, and this was pretty normal. I mean, I do this a lot, you know. I walked out of my car just to get out of the venue for a second and get a little bit of peace just from subs blasting my face all night. And I literally am standing outside, drinking the water, eating the Cliff Bar, and all of a sudden I see about 500 people screaming and running outside of the venue from all levels, the entire venue, just like vomiting people out of it. And then I see like all of LAPD circling our building with the spotlight, the chopper, and everything. There's like 2 choppers, I think, for this one. So at this point, I literally have no clue what's going on. So I'm thinking, that's weird. Maybe I should get in my car just in case, like, maybe it's a good idea to leave right now. So then I'm sitting in my car. I'm seeing people like literally like running to their vehicles. So then I'm like, okay, maybe I should leave, because if I don't leave now, then it's just gonna get packed in this parking lot. I'm not gonna be able to leave. So I literally just pull out my car and just start driving like home, because I'm like, I don't know what just happened. But so I start driving home, and this is like all within a 5-minute span, basically. I think at this point it was about 11 or midnight. It wasn't too late, but it wasn't too early. I pull out a lot, and the lighting guy calls me. And I answer the phone, and all I hear is just loud noises. And then I hear him like panicking on the phone, and he's like crying, like literally crying on the phone. He's like, dude, this girl just got stabbed, man. She just got stabbed to death. There's blood everywhere, dude. I'm freaking out right now. I'm hiding under the lighting console. And he's like still up there in the bird's nest, you know, because that's where we last were. And I'm like, wow, okay, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm hiding right now, dude. I'm really freaking out right now. And I'm like, okay, well, dude, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like, I just didn't even know what happened. I saw a bunch of people running and just decided to get in my car and leave, because I just thought, like, I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, you know? So basically at this point, I'm thinking, this is my last show at this venue. I mean, I think I just have to quit, you know? And I feel like no one's even gonna be mad that I got in my car and left. Like, that's understandable at this point, you know? And I still didn't really know what happened. I mean, I know what he said, but it's like, who really knows what happened? So then about 10 minutes later, I get a call from the production manager, and he's like, hey, dude, can you come help us clean this up? And I'm thinking, like, clean up the mess? Or like, what do you mean? He's like, no. He's like, the cops are here cleaning that up. He's like, we just need you to clean up, like, you know, the sound equipment, because the show's over. Like, we're done, you know? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, I don't know if I should, like, come back to this venue. He's like, come on, dude. He's like, just help us out. Like, you know, you can decide whatever you want to do after this, but just come back and help us clean up the gear. I'm like, okay. So I come back and help him clean up. You know, we're unpacking the stage. Not that area, because that was a crime scene now, but all the other stages for the night, right? There's like still 6 other stages in the venue. So that disco room is now a crime scene. And I finally find out what happened. I guess, you know, this was an altercation between 3 girls, and I guess 2 of the girls were dating at one point, and then they broke up, and the girlfriend showed up with a new girlfriend, and the ex also happened to be at the same show, and I guess the ex-girlfriend decided to stab her now ex-girlfriend for bringing a new chick to a concert without her knowing, or something like that. And she killed her, and it was very sad. That was one of the saddest nights I've ever felt in that city. As I said before, I always kind of felt like this underlying evil vibe whenever I'd go to catch one. But this really set a different kind of mood for multiple things, you know. It was a very sad thing that happened, obviously, and all of us could feel that sadness, you know, and that vibe. And I think actually my production manager shed a tear over that too, even though none of us knew who these people were, but it was just such a sad circumstance to see something like this happen. You know, it hit all of us. So after that, you know, I really thought about my life, because I was like, man, am I gonna just keep like working at a place like this where this kind of stuff happens? I mean, this venue is always kind of like bordering being a dangerous place to work. There's always shady stuff going on at this venue, so this was kind of like shadiness, you know, to its maximum extent when this event happened, and I really had to question working here anymore. So I think I ended up doing like one more show at this venue, I want to say, and I finally quit. I don't think I stuck around too much longer after this happened. I can't really remember. I mean, to be honest, it was kind of a traumatic event. I mean, it is what it is. Experiencing death around you is never a nice thing, you know, especially when it's murder. So yeah, I don't think I worked at the venue too much longer, although I do recall doing a few shows after that. Needless to say, this was a tragic event, and it definitely changed my entire perspective on concerts, live music, and you know, basically the organization and functionality of putting together live shows, because there's so many things that could go wrong like that. And a lot of this I felt like was, you know, it's like the live sound business, the live music business can be kind of a rough around the edges place, I feel like sometimes. What do you think about this story? A lot of people have told me that eventually I should write a book, you know, with all my stories in them. Maybe I will. But for now, I enjoy being able to share them with all of you on YouTube. And yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And have you ever had a similar experience to this in your music career? With that being said, if you want one-on-one guitar instruction with me, make sure to shoot me an email. That's in the description in the pinned comment below. And don't forget to sign up for the free monthly newsletter. I will see you all on the next one.